Greetings, salutations, respect and love, cats and kittens. Welcome to the Prog Corner, and to all my viewers in the United States. Have a very happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. I guess I'm allowed to say that since around 50% of my viewers are in the US. But this is a time where we sit back and reflect on the things in our life that we've got, the things that we should be thankful for, and maybe we aren't on a regular basis. I'm so thankful for my wife, and I'm so thankful to have you guys here with me. I'm thankful for music in general, but mostly I'm thankful for prog rock. And today we're just gonna talk about some of those great musicians who have left us in 2022. Because one of the things we definitely need to be thankful for is the fact that we are above ground and we can still enjoy music and listen to music and, do all the things we want to do. And the 20 individuals that I'm going to be talking about today don't have that privilege. They are not going to be cutting a Thanksgiving turkey tomorrow. It's really sad. And you see behind me an array of albums that the great Alan White played on. So you know he's on this list. We're going in chronological order from, who left us first and who left us last. Born April 10th, 1950 in Cardiff, Wales, Burke Shelley from Budgie left us January 10th of this year. He was born in Cardiff. He died in Cardiff. He was the lead singer. He was the bass player for the great Budgie. And he left us, but he left with a great body of work to enjoy. The next guy I'm talking about, he left us January 16th. It's Thore Pettersen from the Moron Police, a great young band, just really getting going, just really getting their name out there, cutting his prime. Absolutely just terrible. I love that Moron Police record, and that last LP was just dynamite. January 20th, Meatloaf, Marvin Lee a Day left us. He was born September 27th, 1947 in Nashville. Oh, in Dallas. He died in Nashville. Bat Out of Hell is a fine album, 1977, but I really can't think of a whole lot else I like by Meatloaf. I guess he sang 4 songs on Ted Nugent's, that one album that I like by him. I can't even remember the name. I'm just so messed up here this morning. So Meatloaf is gone. He left us. February 9th, Ian MacDonald left us. He was born in June 25th, 1946 in Osterley in England. He died in New York City. If you're a fan of prog rock, you know exactly who Ian MacDonald is and what he means to our genre. Obviously, the King Crimson thing is what he's going to be remembered for most. But don't forget, he was also a founding member of Foreigner, which is just amazing that he was able to found those 2 incredible bands. R.I.P. Ian MacDonald. What a great loss. Next up, Gary Brooker left us February 19th. Of course, he was the keyboard player and singer for Procol Harum, one of the very foundational bands in our genre, and Gary Brooker was a big reason why Procol Harum took over the world. He was born in London, and he died in Surrey. What a great loss. What a great voice Gary Brooker had. March 25th, we lost the great Taylor Hawkins. This was a man that was born February 17th, 1972 in Fort Worth. He died in Bogota. All the tributes. The outpouring of love for this guy was really great to see. It was second to none. And there is definitely a couple prog connections with Taylor, not least of which was his lifelong friendship with John Davison of Yes. He was actually the one that introduced Chris Squire to John Davison. And he also played on a Coheed and Cambria album. He played on Good Apollo, Burning Star 4, Volume 2, No World for Tomorrow. That came out in 2007. Yeah, Taylor Hawkins will be missed. Absolutely. Here's a guy Probably a lot of you guys don't know. It's Bill Gillham from the band Cirrus. He left us after a long battle with leukemia. He left us April 17th. If you don't know Cirrus, great band. Imagine Genesis with a female singer, and you're not going to be too far off. What a horrible loss. April 26th, we lost Klaus Schulze. Born in Berlin in 1947, he obviously founded Tangerine Dream. We only lasted one album with them before he went solo. Also was part of Asherah Temple. But he's going to probably be best remembered for those dozens and dozens of great electronic albums. My favorites of which are Time Wind, Moon Dawn, and Mirage. Just terrific stuff. What a pioneer in the electronic musical scene. Just a horrible loss. May 1st, we lost Rick Parnell. Rick Parnell of Atomic Rooster. He was their drummer, their third drummer. He played on their last two albums. But he's probably going to be best known as the drummer for Spinal Tap. His character's name was Mick Shrimpton, and in the movie they killed him off. So when they showed up on Saturday Night Live and they started recording albums and doing tours, he wanted to reprise the role, so he came back as Mick Shrimpton's twin brother, Rick. He's also notable in that he's the guy that played drums on Tony Basil's #1 smash hit, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Yeah, hey, Mickey. My wife's birthday. May 13th, we lost Ricky Gardiner of Beggar's Opera. The Scottish guitar player was also well known for playing on David Bowie's album Low, playing with Iggy Pop on the Lust for Life album. He was battling with Parkinson's, and he left us May 13th. Another great loss. May 17th, Evangelos Odysseus Papathanasiou, better known as Vangelis, left us. Born March 23rd, 1943 in Greece. He died in Paris on May 17th. Obviously the great Greek keyboard player, best known for his work with Aphrodite's Child, and then going into the soundtrack realm with the great soundtracks like Chariots of Fire and Blade Runner. Vangelis will be missed. He was almost a member of Yes at one point. What a titan, what a giant he was. May 26th, we lost the great Alan White. What a horrible loss. All Yes fans around the world converged in their grieving, and Alan was just a prince among men, just a great guy. I met him a couple times. Real sweet dude. Horrible. That same day, May 26th, we lost Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode, founding member. He founded the band with Vince Clarke, who only lasted one album, and the question with Andy Fletcher always was what's his role in the band? Martin Gore wrote the songs and Dave Gahan sang them. The joke was that Andy Fletcher showed up for photo shoots and cashed his checks, but I think he probably meant a whole lot more to that band than that. I saw Depeche Mode back in the 80s, and they were great. I loved them. I really do enjoy that band. Andy Fletcher. Big loss. June 23rd, we lost Massimo Morante from Goblin, the great Italian guitar player who'd played on all those great soundtrack records, all those great Goblin records, those early records. He's all over them. Just such a terrific musician. A horrible loss. He'll definitely be missed, especially with all the different incarnations of Goblin floating around. It would have been nice if he was still around. In July 24th, speaking about Italian prog rockers, we lost Vittorio de Scalzi from the New Trolls. He was a singer, flute player, guitar player, multi-instrumentalist, played on all of those early New Trolls albums. Just a real, pioneering guy in the RPI scene. Also in July 28th, we lost Sam Fossbakk from Professor TikTok. He had liver cancer. Professor TikTok, a really cool band. We don't need any of these new prog bands losing members, man. It ain't right. Speaking about modern proggers that left us too soon, August 25th, we lost Eric Bouilette, who had played with The Room. He'd played with Nine Skies. He played with Nova Cascade. He played with Drifting Sun. He was a guitar player, violin player, showed up on a lot of records. The guy was just a consummate musician, and people that know him said that Eric was just a great, great guy. Horrible loss. October 15th, we lost Noel Duggan from Clanad, the great Irish Celtic band. I think he might be like Enya's uncle or something like that, but he was a founding member of the band, probably the greatest of all Irish bands. Another great loss. Earlier this month, the 10th of November to be exact, we lost Nik Turner, born August 26, 1940. Nik Turner joined Hawkins before their first album came out in 1969, primarily because he owned a van. And then during subsequent tours over the years, he was on the first 6 Hawkins albums. He got kicked out of the band because apparently he just couldn't keep his saxophone in check. He loved to turn it up. He loved to be the loudest guy on the stage and wear all this crazy Egyptian pharaoh kind of stuff. And I guess everybody in the band was getting a little bit tired of it. But he got kicked out of the band in 1976. He played on all their early records up through Astounding Sounds and Amazing Music. Just such a great, great musician. Great loss. Horrible loss. And yesterday, we lost Wilko Johnson from Dr. Feelgood, one of the most influential pub rock bands of all time. This was a guy who's been cited as an influence for a whole slew of punk rock bands. After Dr. Feelgood broke up, Wilko joined Ian Dury and the Blockheads. There is a prog connection with Wilko here in that some of those later incarnations of Ian Dury and the Blockheads, the drummer was none other than Dylan Howe, Steve's son. And I guess some of the last concerts that Wilko ever did were with Dylan Howe. He had an autobiography that was written, ghostwritten by Steve Howe's daughter-in-law, Dylan's wife, Zoe. Real great author. If you ever want to read any great music, biography, she's fantastic. But Wilko Johnson, man, that finger-picking style of his was just so cool, so different. He could play lead and rhythm at the same time because he wasn't using a pick. And he'll probably be best remembered as a character on Game of Thrones. He was on the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. So there you have it. In memoriam, 20 great artists that left us in 2022. Fingers crossed we don't lose any more because we still got 5 weeks left in the calendar year. Anyway, I love you guys. Stay safe. If you're traveling during the holidays, don't take any wooden nickels. Don't take any crap from anybody. Be with your families. Enjoy them, because you never know how much longer you've got on this planet, as we just witnessed now with those 20 great artists who are no longer with us. Anyway, next week, we got all kinds of great content planned. I hope you guys have a great holiday. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner. I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. God save the King. And Meghan Markle.